This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
Civic Media News. I'm Terry Bell. Here's what Wisconsin needs to know. Now that Super Tuesday is over, the presidential candidates are shifting focus to Wisconsin in the general election. Vice President Kamala Harris is in Wisconsin today. Harris and Labor Secretary Julie Su are in Madison talking about workers' rights, union jobs, and the economy. A new report finds people are almost as likely to find a good-paying job in rural areas as urban ones. Georgetown University's Martin Vanderwerf says it's a matter of training people for the right jobs.
There ought to be just closer ties between the labor force and educators so that we are actually educating people for the jobs that actually exist rather than jobs we wish would exist.
Vanderwerf says some industries are better suited for growth in the country.
If you're going to build a solar array or a wind farm, you got to do it in a rural area. And when that happens, what kinds of jobs are needed to support it? And all that sort of thing could really help rural areas.
A Georgetown study finds rural Americans had a 50% chance at a good-paying job compared to 54% in urban areas. Nursing instructors are pushing back against efforts to set up a for-profit nursing school in Wisconsin. The Arizona College of Nursing is being sued in other states for alleged predatory practices. Barbara Nichols is with the Wisconsin Center for Nursing. She says students should seek out established, accredited schools.
Those schools that provide theory in terms of online and then make sure they have good clinical placements.
Wisconsin is dealing with a shortage of registered nurses. More veterans might someday qualify for free tuition at Wisconsin state universities. Vets have to live in Wisconsin for 5 years to qualify for tuition reimbursement. A bill getting a hearing today would cut that time to 3 years. Veterans and their families can qualify for up to 8 free semesters at state universities or technical colleges. The combined reward in the case of Elijah Vu is now up to $25,000. Manitowoc County Crime Stoppers is offering as much as $10,000, while the FBI is offering $15,000. The 3-year-old from Two Rivers has been missing for 2 weeks. His mother and her boyfriend are charged with child neglect. I'm Terry Bell, Civic Media News. Now here's what you need to know closer to home.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. The head coach of the University of Wisconsin Superior's women's hockey team has announced his retirement. According to a Northern News Now report, Dan Laughlin was one of the longest tenured coaches in Division III women's hockey. He first became an assistant coach with the team in 2002, taking over as head coach the following season. Under his leadership, the team won 3 conference regular season championships, 1 conference playoff championship, and appeared in the NCAA tournament twice. Superior officials have a plan to revitalize the community theater scene in the city. According to a Northern News Now report, Superior City Council members are discussing the future of the Princess Theater, hoping to revamp the historic downtown building. The city's Historic Preservation Commission approved $65,000 in funding for a consulting firm to evaluate the building and figure out what it could become. Superior Mayor Jim Payne also called for a $1 million renovation project for the roof. More information on the January shooting at the Super 8 Hotel in Cloquet has been released. According to law enforcement officials, Nicholas Lennius had methamphetamine in his system when he shot 2 people at the hotel before shooting himself. After a thorough investigation, police found no connection between Lennius and the victims, 22-year-old Shelby Treadle and 35-year-old Patrick Roars. Officials say Lennius may have been experiencing a mental health crisis under the influence of the drugs. A popular concert is set to return to Duluth's Bayfront Festival Park this year. Officials say the band Hairball is set to return to the venue in early July, paying homage to some of the most famous rock bands of all time. It's the band's 24th year performing across the country, featuring a variety of vocalists. The concert is scheduled to run from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. on July 3rd, with general admission tickets and VIP area tickets available online. Tickets for the concert are set to go on sale at 10 a.m. on Friday. A Duluth nonprofit wants more residents to consider mentoring a young person during a month-long campaign. Mentor North has launched their March into Mentoring program, which asks residents to nominate community members who could make a positive difference in the life of a kid from the area. The organization is hoping to take in about 100 nominations and match as many of them as they can with over 50 Twin Ports kids who are waiting for a mentor. Nominations can be made online. Representatives from Duluth and St. Louis County will be making their case for state funding this week. According to a Northern News Now report, Wednesday is Duluth and St. Louis County Days at the state capitol. The event gives local leaders a chance to make pitches for state funding, with St. Louis County eyeing $17 million for two of their main projects. Duluth Mayor Roger Reinhardt says he's looking for nearly $7 million in funding to make improvements to the Lakewood water treatment plant. A Duluth food shelter is looking for community support to reach their lofty fundraising goals. Chum is participating in Minnesota Food Share Month and is hoping to raise $100,000 and 50,000 pounds of food in just 1 month. Officials from the nonprofit say food demand goes up in the summer when kids no longer have school meals to rely on, so they want to be as prepared for that as possible. The organization says for every dollar that is donated, they can buy $3 of food from their partners. Duluth residents won't be seeing as many trees in the Kitchigami Park area soon. The city of Duluth is planning to remove some trees from the area, also known as Brighton Beach, in preparations for the construction of a road through the area this year. Thanks to the warmer than usual winter, construction crews will be able to get to work sooner than expected and minimize the environmental impact of the construction on birds and bats. The city will also be removing the invasive Scotch pine tree species from the area. And that's what you need to know. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
Mostly sunny this morning with a few more clouds gradually trickling in here throughout the afternoon. Our high today, 50 with wind out of the southeast at 5 to 15. Tonight down to 32. Tomorrow it'll be partly cloudy, 53 with scattered rain tomorrow night into Friday. Our high Friday, 44. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. Currently it's 32.
Bucks headed to the West Coast. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks packing their bags for a long 4-game road trip. Milwaukee now doing a better job of passing the ball around to find the open shot. Bobby Portis.
Doc's been emphasizing that all since he's been here since January is you might have a good shot here, but that extra pass could just lead to a better open shot for the team. We've been making a lot of those reads actually. Like you might not get an assist, but you might get a hockey assist out of it.
College basketball, a big night for Marquette as they host number 2 ranked UConn in Milwaukee on senior night. The Badgers play Rutgers Thursday. Iowa's Caitlin Clark named the best player in the Big Ten. Baseball, the Brewers and the Giants had 29 combined hits, but the Giants won 13-8 over Milwaukee. Reese Hoskins got his first home run as a Brewer.
You're just hoping for the right match with the team that will show up eventually, and in my eyes, it did with the Brewers.
NBA, the Bucks have won 6 in a row now since the All-Star break.
You know, guys just talking, communicating, doing what the coach asked of us. We drill things and drill them, and it's been like muscle memory for us now to go out there and you can plug and play guys, and you know the thing, our system still looks the same no matter who's out there.
That's the Bucks' Bobby Portis. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm Pete with the 60-second Showbiz Beat. If you can't get enough of the NCIS conglomerate, this will make you happy. Deadline.com reports that NCIS Origins, yes, it's a prequel, was given the straight-to-series green light. Austin Stowell will play a young Gibbs on the new CBS show. The more familiar Gibbs, Mark Harmon, will provide narration to the series, which will be set in 1991. Origins is one of the 2 new shows rolling out from the NCIS ever-growing franchise. Just guessing that this might have to be the last NCIS because thanks to the military court franchise, we are running out of actors. Up for some more Real TV Housewives? Me neither. That's not going to stop Bravo from rolling out season 2 of the Real TV Housewives Dubai. For those of you who had no idea there was even a season 1, Bravo has announced season 2 will air in June of this year. The Real Housewives have had dozens of spin-offs locally and internationally. Personally, I refuse to watch until Wisconsin is represented. Who wouldn't want to watch the Real Housewives of Oconomowoc? So, you want to be famous? Talk to Kate Winslet first. The actress says she disliked being famous so much after Titanic in 1997 that she opted for smaller projects. The 48-year-old Oscar winner told People magazine the press was everywhere to the point where she wasn't enjoying life. On the bright side, we got to watch Winslet in Mayor of Easttown. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Gwyneth Paltrow wants you to know that she has black women friends. People magazine reports Paltrow was recently interviewed by Dr. Ella Bell and said that white women, who she apparently represents universally, have a lot to learn from black women. Using the phrase "my black women friends" a suspicious amount of times, the Shakespeare in Love actress says her black women friends are better at lifting each other up than her white women friends, adding that they would be more likely to cheer her up. Gwyneth Paltrow needs cheering up? I'm sure black women everywhere are lining up to cheer up old Gwynnie. Ready for more award show news? I thought so. The NAACP has announced Queen Latifah will take the mic again this year and host the 55th Annual Image Awards. The star of The Equalizer hosted last year's event as well. Latifah is no stranger to awards, having taken home a Grammy and an Emmy in her career. She was also Oscar nominated for her supporting role in the movie Chicago. The Image Awards will be held March 16th and will air on both BET and CBS. If you haven't been called about being a presenter at this year's Oscars, you might be the only one. The Hollywood Reporter says Ryan Gosling and Ariana Grande have been chosen as the final presenters for this year's Academy Awards, rounding out a very long list. Steven Spielberg, Emily Blunt, and Forrest Whitaker were also announced recently to hand out awards at this year's event. I've heard of that Spielberg guy. He's really starting to hit his stride as a director. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with me, Pete Schwaba, every night between 7 and 9 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio.